on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing.
Las opiniones expresadas en este programa son responsabilidad exclusiva de quienes las emiten y no representan necesariamente el pensamiento o alguna posición oficial de este medio de comunicación.
ADR Networks presenta.
This is Celestine Angel.
And I'm Isaac Crouch.
And this is...
Foreign Show!
On the Foreign Show.
Yes, y'all, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people everywhere, welcome to That Foreign Show, Friday, 3 p.m. I'm Isaac Rakesh here on ADR Networks, activating your senses. Alright, on today's show, let's kick things off with the Insider segment. And as you know, if you've been watching, actually put up some recommendations of places, things, cool stuff to do, cool stuff to see, cool stuff to buy, insider information about stuff that you should be in the know of, right? So that's the Insider segment. And on today's Insider segment, we are going to kick things off with Illuzen the store. All right, Fer, if you can put up the first image that we have here, Illuzen the store. Now, Illuzen the store is a project that we put together. We're very proud of, right? And what you're looking at right here is the Sleep Boost bundle. And this is the Focus bundle. So what is this? All right, let me break it down for you guys. All right. As you know, nowadays, there are lots of options when it comes to supplements, right? When it comes to performance-enhancing products, right? Supplements, medicines, things like that. And we have decided to venture into this area, right? Because we are passionate about productivity, about being optimizing yourself, optimizing your activities and things like that. So with that in mind, we have put together this very special product, right? And it's called the Illuzen Focus Patch. What you're looking at right there, you see those circular things? Those are patches, right? So these patches, it's pretty small. You put it on your skin, all right? So you wear it once, 24 hours, a full 24 hours, and it lasts you a whole week, right? So there are two different things, right? The sleep patches and the focus patches. Fer, could you put on the image of the patches again, the focus patch, right? Okay, or the sleep boost patch, as you see here. So we have two different things that we are kind of focusing on, right? Focus and sleep. And we put this product together to kind of enhance your sleep as well as your focus, right? So when it comes to the sleep patch, it is actually made up of 26 different nutrients, right? Special blend of vitamins like B6, right? And some of these other stuff put together to kind of actually help you sleep better, right? It prevents the kind of crashes that you will get if you are reaching out for stimulants like coffee or energy drinks, things like that, right? So now we have tried it, and our recommendation, right, of how you should do this is actually, before you actually get into doing it, is to actually get yourself in a kind of neutral state in terms of your consumption of things. So if you're taking a lot of coffee, a lot of stimulants and things like that, we will advise you to just kind of wean off of that for a while, and then try the patch, all right? What you're looking at is the Sleep Boost patch. Fer, can you put on the focus patch, the image of the focus patch? And yes, okay, now, so what you're looking at right here, this is the Illuzen Focus Patch. Now, this one's really special. It's made from a special blend of 11 different mushroom extracts. So we're talking about 11 different types of mushroom, right? Now, these are specially selected blend of mushrooms, all right, which gives you the kind of effects that you're looking for when you're trying to get in a state of relaxed focus. Okay? So it's made of mushrooms like, reishi, lion's mane, cordyceps, chaga mushroom, shiitake, enoki mushroom, turkey tail, oyster mushroom, white button mushroom extracts. These are just a few. All right? It's made up of 11 different extracts. Now, if you know anything about mushrooms and you know that these mushrooms are really effective, really powerful, and very natural also, and it will enhance your focus, your clarity, as well as your memory even. So if you are in the midst of a project, if you're starting a project and you need to actually focus, our recommendation here, instead of reaching out for your usual coffee or energy drinks, try out the focus patch. You only need one patch to be worn 24 hours and it lasts you a week. Now what you're looking at here is the focus bundle. Okay, so if you get the focus bundle, what it includes, you get the patch, and you also get you get this diffuser thing. I'm sure you're wondering what that thing is, right? It looks like a cloud. It is a kind of cloud, right? It is a cloud diffuser. Now this thing has been really popular on TikTok recently, all right, and it's been blowing up. People have been asking. People are excited about this kind of effect, all right. Basically, what happens is you pour water into the diffuser, right, and you get the sound of raindrops. So with the sound of raindrops, falling asleep to the sound of raindrops kind of enhances your sleep, right? And the bundle includes an essential oil as well. So you can choose an essential oil. If you go to our website, Illusion the Store, you can actually look through all of the different oils and the effects each one of them has, right? Each essential oil has a very specific effect that you can tap into by simply just putting a few drops into your diffuser and leaving it on your office, on your desk table, for example, on your work area, your studio, right? And you can put a few drops of something that will get you focused, right? You can also use the diffuser when you're sleeping, right? You could get the Illusion Sleep Bundle. The Illusion Sleep Bundle includes the Illusion Sleep Patch, the Illusion Rain Cloud Diffuser, as well as a select essential oil, right? So you can put something in that will make you relax, like lavender, something like that, something that will get you in the kind of really sleepy kind of state, and it is bound to help you. Now, how much does this cost? Right, so if you're looking at a bundle like this, right, in Mexican pesos, it's about 1,100, right? It's about $55, basically. And for that, you get the sleep patch, you get the select oil, as well as the diffuser. Now, if each patch, you see, like this packet over here, it gets you 8 patches, right? You only need to wear one patch, 24 hours, and that lasts you a week. So if you get this packet right here, this is going to last you 8 weeks. Okay? Now, we've done a cost breakdown of everything that you might actually need in comparison, supplement-wise. All the kind of supplements that you actually need, and the cost of buying these supplements to last you those same 8 weeks, right? And of course, it is much better to get the patch than your usual supplements. You actually end up saving lots of dollars, right? You end up saving pretty much a big chunk that you might usually spend on getting your supplements, getting your usual supplements, getting your supplement routine. Okay? And now we've also included, if you go to the website, we break it down for you completely in the section that says hello. You just click hello. You go in and you can actually see the whole breakdown of what this thing is, right? What the sleep boost patch is, what the focus patch is, what is included in the patch, and you can also look at the cost breakdown and see, if you are a person who has, committed to taking supplements regularly, your vitamin B, vitamin C, and all of these other stuff, including your vitamin B shots, right? If you're going to do all of that, the kind of costs that you are going to be looking at, it is much, much higher than if you try the patch. Now we want to invite you guys to come on to check out the patch, give it a shot, and let us know what you think. Yes, let us know what you think about the focus patch and also the sleep patch. Okay? Now, I've tried it out, and I try my best not to be biased when I'm trying it, right? Of course, it's my product, so there's a tendency to be biased. However, I really feel, after trying it, that I can feel myself being able to relax easier when I'm lying in bed, and falling asleep easier as well, right? And it's like a cycle, so it actually kind of feeds into the next day. I wake up more refreshed and able to focus better, right? So it's a positive cycle, right? Now I'm looking at the cost breakdown here for 1 month. I'm just going to break this down for you guys. If you're going to do multivitamins like iron supplements and vitamin D, it's going to cost you about $35 to $70 a month, right? And if you're going to do vitamin B12 injections as well, that's going to cost you about $60 to $125 a month. Okay? Now, if you're going to go for just the patch, if you buy the patch on its own, and if you get one bag, which is a 2-month supply, that's only going to cost you $18, right? And if you go for the bundle, all right, you're going to end up with savings of up to $250. Okay, savings of up to $250. So it's really worth it. Highly recommended on this insider segment. Go check it out on the website. The website is illuzenthestore.com. Go check it out. And we invite you guys to actually let us know. Yes, that's the website right there, illuzenthestore.com. We invite you guys to actually try it out. Try out the focus bundle and also the sleep patch bundle this early Black Friday sale, right? We're doing an early Black Friday sale, okay? And it's early, right? For Black Friday, we're a few weeks early, but we decided to just let it go at these prices for you guys, so that you guys can take advantage of it and try it out and let us know. And also the rain cloud diffuser. Now try it out. It's really fun. You can hear the sound of the raindrops as you are sleeping. Really fun as well, and also gets you into a relaxed and beautiful state, right? It increases your productivity and relaxation. All right, that's the insider segment. Now we're gonna jump to our show. On today's show, now we have a very special guest. All right, we have a guest that's gonna break down the Mexican art scene for us. All right. We have Janina Totz with us today, and she is a German artist, and we are going to get her perspective on the Mexican art scene. Okay? Yes. Now, if she's backstage, let's let her in to the show. Hey, hi, hi, Janina.
Hello.
How are you doing? Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you for having me. Amazing.
Yes. Thank you for coming on the show, Janina Totz. Did I say it right?
Yeah, perfect.
Cool.
These German names, hey.
Yes. Well, welcome to the show. And yes, we're gonna talk a bit about art and the stuff that we do. But before we do that, I wanna talk a bit about the event that you're working on. and this thing about future ancestors, right? Can you tell us a bit about that, because it's really interesting.
Yeah, that was a nice, as a really, really like a hard project. Yeah, you got the flyer here for our walk that's coming up next Monday. Everybody interested, whoever is in Mexico City at that time, it's from 10 to 2 o'clock p.m., 10 in the morning to 2 o'clock p.m. And it's, so the whole project, the Future Ancestors, is about the Quelites. And of course, because it yesterday started with the Dia de Muertos, it's about the topic of mourning, of the topic of how we deal with death. But like we wanted to make that show like also a positive way of dealing with death, like seeing the nice memories of somebody that just passed, seeing the positivity that comes out of it and how we all can get over it. We found that topic especially interesting because no matter where you live in the world, which culture you come from, you all have experienced this sadness after somebody close to you died. So this is really something that affects everybody. And yeah, this is basically what the show is about. Yeah, what connects us.
So, okay, that's really interesting. You mentioned it's a walk, right?
Yeah. So there's an exhibition that already started yesterday in the Goethe Institute, in the German Institute in Roma. And this walk is like a workshop that we have for people interested on Monday. And it's a walk in the neighborhood. We will walk around and see all sorts of quelites, which is like wild plants, herbs, pre-Hispanic herbs that live everywhere. You can see them every little niche and every corner of the streets.
Okay.
But you're not aware that you can actually eat them. And they're really good. They're good for digestion. They have certain qualities. And we will walk around and learn a lot about them. And also, it's more of an inclusive workshop, like where you can also do something. We will be writing, we will be discussing. And then later on, come back to the Goethe Institute and eat a little meal of these quelites. So somebody has prepared an actual meal for us.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So that's really interesting. So future ancestors and this topic about death and... You know, it's a really interesting topic also, and it's something that I feel, being in Mexico, I feel like the people here or the artists here, they kind of, they kind of address this topic about death, and like you said, in a way, kind of looking for the positive or looking for how it can be more than what it is, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'll give you an example. Like, right near my place over here, there's like an expressway, right? And you have this like artwork, like huge pieces of drawings, like graffiti drawings. I guess they were commissioned by the delegation. And on one of them is this quote that says, don't like death. Don't cry. Don't mourn my death, but celebrate it, right? Celebrate my life, and this whole attitude of like, yes, it's a very sad thing, and yes, it's it's something heavy and stuff, but if you can look at the positive, and if you can look at how how you can actually learn something from it, right? Like how you can actually learn from the person who has passed, or kind of celebrate that person's life, right? And when I look at your thing about future ancestors, it's really cool because it's like a play on time, right? Ancestors is supposed to be in the past, but we're talking about future ancestors. So in other words, you're talking about a living kind of present, right? Like it's you. So you can channel your ancestors.
Exactly.
Right?
Like we are coming back. It's like a little bit of this play of the circle of life. Like my ancestors are within me, and even if you're not related to somebody, you can transport ideas into the future or something. It's like that circle of life thing, which is everywhere in nature. Like even if you compost something, it comes back, and then something is growing out of it. It's that if it's the ancestors or the future, it's like all coming back. It's a nice way of living it.
It's beautiful, and the information, right? Like the information that you can kind of pass forward, and yes, really interesting. So, I see it's only a maximum of 20 people for this walk.
Oh,
right?
Nice.
So
Hello. Yeah.
really cool. Well, okay. I want to talk a bit about your perspective. Like, maybe can you describe the art scene here in Mexico? Like from your perspective, what do you think?
That's interesting. So I have lived this time. I'm only here for this project, like for over a month. But I've lived here in 2017-18 for a year, also to study at UNAM. Studied art and Spanish there, and I can mainly talk about that time back then, and a little bit about the changes that I encountered since then, like now that I came back. And also like the differences, obviously, to Germany and why I love it. I really love the art scene here.
Yes, please break it down for us.
Yeah.
Break it down for us.
Because first of all, when you come to some opening or any event or something, people are very inviting. Back then, they were just so inviting. They were like, when somebody told you at an opening, or you just started talking to people and other artists, they were like, yeah, you should definitely come to my place tomorrow. We're having a little gathering. And they mean it. They mean it, it's not just talking. They actually
Right.
call you the next day. And I was like so amazed because, it's just blah, blah, blah from it's like in Germany, it's often like that. It's just blah, 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 but they don't actually mean it. They just want to be nice, But here they actually meant it. And it's like, why wouldn't I say it if I didn't mean it, kind of? So I was very quickly into the art scene here back then, and it was so much fun. And I saw a beautiful mix of different art styles coming, also lots of European influences, of course, but also like traditional influences in the way people use materials or colors, way more colorful than this normal, like this German Bauhaus, very minimal art kind of thing.
Right.
I love that. Like, of course, my brain had to like adapt to a different world, but I loved it.
Yeah.
More inspiration. It was so inspirational.
So when you say this art that you're talking about, I mean, when you say you did art back in 2018, 2019 in UNAM, what kind of art were you like? What capacity of it like?
There was more focused on short films because I studied back in Munich. I studied media art and I specialized on videos. So video art, and there we were more into short films and little film festivals and whatever happens there and what people want to express. There was lots of political stuff going on. That's also a big difference, I think, that art is very political here, and almost you can't really find art that doesn't position itself unpolitical. Whereas in Munich, many people say, no, my art is not political. I take myself out of that. And I found it very interesting. So
why do you?
Yeah.
Well, why do you think that is? That in Germany, that people want to take the political thing out of art?
Interesting question. I think many. So I would say I'm speaking now of the Munich art scene because I'm living in Munich, and I would say that many people are very satisfied with life. There's nothing to complain in a way, so they're not engaging, or they just like it's fine. So let's just focus on the nice things. So there's not. So you don't bring up the energy to speak out things that need to be changed, because you need to bring up the energy. This is a fight, like political statements and political fighting. You need to put the energy in that, and most people probably don't want to put that energy into that. They want to focus on something else.
Right. It's too real, right? They don't want to go there. It's too
real. It's weird, and I'm questioning that myself. Why they don't want to do political art? Maybe also because you have to have an opinion. Then if you do political art, you have to have an opinion. You have to have the standpoint, and it's difficult. It's a daily learning, obviously, but maybe people don't want to put energy into that learning and experiencing.
Yeah, because a lot of times, politics kind of opens up doors and it gets kind of maybe too personal and things like that. Yeah, like I mean, we've had a lot of interviews on this show also with different artists and stuff, and sometimes political stuff. They let us know beforehand, like. We don't want to go there, we don't want to go there because then we're gonna have to talk about stuff
Yeah.
that we, like wars and things like that. And
Yeah.
Well, it's understandable. It's understandable. But also there's the other stand, right? Like as an artist, you are sort of, it's kind of your responsibility, right? To shake the scene up a bit, right?
Yeah.
Or what do you think? Like shake things up and actually make some statements and make a stand, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a public thing. When you make an exhibition, you want to show something to the public. You kind of produce something for an audience. Like you go and broadcast, you're going out, you spreading the word, and then you have to position yourself. You kind of have to think about what do you actually want to put out there. It's a
Yeah.
public thing. So I think whenever we do something publicly, we maybe should position ourselves and know what we're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, they say really good art is supposed to be polarizing, right? For you to have
Yeah.
an opinion on it.
Yeah, or more. I often think like maybe you don't have to pinpoint something in good art, but like ask questions. Just make people like see these questions that are coming up, and then people might answer them themselves. Art just brings up many questions, and you're looking at a piece or looking at a video piece, and there's so many questions popping up in your head. It's like, wow. And it's very diverse. You see all the gray zones. It's not just black and white. It's like, oh my God, there's so many gray zones, and you ask yourself so many questions. And then the audience might start thinking and answer them themselves. That for me is good art.
Yeah. So, Janina, you've touched a bit about this, but can you tell us like the difference in your opinion between German art scene and Mexican art scene?
Yeah, despite of the political maybe, I felt here that there are lots of underground scenes. Like there are different aspects of art, not just like this commercial art that's often like in galleries and gets sold. There's so many subcultures here that even do things that's not commercialized. Like you can't really sell them, or you're publishing your own little scene, or
Right.
you're making collage art or something, like really so delicate and fragile, and there's not that much that thing in this subculture. There's not that much thing about money in the background, and they're just doing it for love, or I'm not sure because I'm not so deep in, but I'm just very fascinated how diverse it is and how many subcultures exist and how many little magazines are there in a little shop in the street, like self-published magazines. Like through what artists go to do these things. This is amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
And in Germany, I mean, what do you feel like generally?
Yeah.
Is there's not so much of that kind of like subcultures, right? Like
Yeah, I would think there was also like a new wave now. Maybe it's just my own perception, of course, but like the post-COVID wave is like more trying to capitalize what you're doing, trying to make pieces that are easy sellable, or like what I heard now when I was still back in Germany, like, yeah, when you have an exhibition, you should produce all sizes, like all kinds of art sizes, so you reach every market. Make a cheap one, make a middle-priced one, and make a high-class, expensive art piece. So you have all the range in the gallery. It's like, wow, this is really capitalizing what you're doing when you have that thought before you do the art. It's not, the art doesn't come first anymore. Of course, there are different goals why you do art, but that's more like a general thing. Every artist has a different goal in mind when they produce art. Like you can do it for the money, of course, like any work, it's our work in the end as well.
Yeah.
You can do it like the political art to change something in society, to drive something, to maybe to just develop your own character or something, to learn, to experience things.
to learn about yourself, right? Like
Yeah.
to grow the kind of
Exactly. That's also why probably like we came together to make this exhibition now in Mexico, because I learned so much. It started just with Beatrice, my collaboration partner, that I'm very happy to work with her in this project. Beatrice,
shout out to
Pascalinés.
Beatrice.
Yes, shout out to Beatrice. with her, nothing would have worked. And I met her back in the days, 2017, 18. And then we started like through the years working in the kind of same field. For me, it was research about mourning, about the death. And for her, it was the kilites, these herbs, which have a lot to do with the ancestors. And then we created that project together. And the initial point was that we wanted to learn from each other. It's like, okay, teach me about kilites, teach me about Dia de Muertos, about all the traditions. I want to learn, I want to suck it in. What does this mean? Why do you use this ingredients? What do we have to buy on the market to put on the table? And like all the traditions, just so meaningful. And in a way, I always find it very funny because you think they are separating cultures or separating people from each other because they're different than what I'm used to. But actually, so many things are so similar in between, like my Bavarian culture, for example, and the Mexicans, like how we approach things, why we're doing things, how we're looking at the death. And there's so many similarities. Then you think then like, wow, how we are so far apart back in the days, and we couldn't travel, but we developed the same traditions in a way because we are human.
Can you give us some examples, like something that kind of blew your mind, you know?
I mean, we have also the Day of the Death, but like in a very small form in the Catholic Bavarian context, where we also go on the same day, we go to the cemetery and just like in a very small form, very privately. And you just think about the dead people. It's not like a big festival like here, but like we still go, it's the same kind of way approaching the death. Just another example that I had to think of now when you asked, it's not about the Mexican culture, but one ritual that I encountered, it's a very specific ritual. It's so crazy. It's a Bavarian, or like Bavarian Alps, in the Alps mountain region. It's a ritual that they did back in the days in the Middle Age, where you had to throw a fish on the ceiling. And when the fish gets stuck on the ceiling, then a golden horse will come in 100 years and bring presents. What? How did I come up with these rituals?
Okay.
And
there must be a story.
There must be something. And then I talked about this ritual with a friend. And that's where it gets interesting, because I talk with many people from different cultures about these things. And then a friend of mine who lives in Pakistan, she was telling me, oh, there is a region that I know that has almost the same ritual. And what comes out of it, and what you like, is a fish throwing on the ceiling, and then you receive some good karma back on that. And I was like, what? Like, how did that happen? Somewhere in Pakistan and in Bavaria. And then you start thinking, and nobody really knows how that spread or how people came up with that. And that I find very, very interesting.
Very, very interesting. That brings to mind also like some similarities I find over here. There's some things that are just kind of unexplainable. Like, okay, back in Singapore where I'm from, like you get these people going around the different neighborhoods, and what these guys do is they collect your used mattresses, your used refrigerators and ovens and stuff, right? But here's the trippy part, right? So as the guy is moving around the neighborhood, he goes like Kanguni, which is exactly the same as what you have over here.
Yeah,
exactly the same, you know. And that's like, whoa, what's going on, you know? Like, so it kind of begs the question, right? Like there is a kind of I would say, and this is of course a personal opinion, that there is a kind of a shared, a common ground, right? Like a common kind of way of doing certain things, right?
Yeah.
And as artists, it's almost like a lot of the artists, they kind of expose this common factor, you know, in between different cultures, and they kind of take this and put it on that to just kind of like, you know, open your mind and kind of you know, and that part is really, really interesting, you know.
Yeah.
And Janina, what do you think about Mexico and it being a place that kind of is conducive for art? Do you think so?
I think it is, but there are two different ways in a way. I think people are very conducive, or people really push in the art scene and have their own inspirations and their goals in art, or their drives why they do things. What probably is missing, and I guess not only here in Mexico, but also at the moment everywhere in the world, is like state funding or funding opportunities anyway to just push like these ideas or push these projects, because there's great people out there that have amazing projects, but like the cultural scene is not really recognized. Like people don't see art or the cultural scene as something you should support. We are putting like millions and billions, every country is putting billions in weapons and whatever and military, and like when you see the percentage of what goes into art, a beautiful factor that actually could unite us, and like it's a globalization factor, and like if there wouldn't be art, people wouldn't come, I don't know, to Paris to look at the Eiffel Tower, or to other countries, Rome or wherever, to look at beautiful art, of beautiful buildings or something. And people don't see this as a drive in the life, because they say you don't need it, you don't need it, it's an extra thing. But without that, the life would be really miserable, I guess. But it's not seen as something of worth, of value. That's why it's so underfunded. And at the moment, especially in Europe, with all like the political change, there's such a decrease in funding and how much money gets put into the cultural scene. And it's not nice to watch. And this is also why it's getting probably more commercialized, because artists are thinking, okay, what, like, if the state or like the government is not supporting me, I have to like go to the market, of course. But then art is not that free anymore, in my opinion. Art is not that free anymore, because you have to adapt to the market and do the things that sell the best. So it's not that free. You can't really do what you would love to do, new things that probably nobody buys because they're new and weird, and you're thinking out of the box, and everybody would be like, what the fuck, what is she doing?
What is
But like, because you have to adapt to the market, because you still have to survive, you have to eat.
That's a really, really interesting, topic, about this thing, the survival thing, and yes, if you look at it like that, you can say that if you look at art together like this, and then okay, there's art and there's infrastructure. Yeah, maybe we should put more money on infrastructure to build, and maybe art is not so important, right? If you look at it this way, it could make sense. Yeah. But I mean, I would argue, and I'm sure you will agree also, that art is like it kind of infuses everything,
Yeah.
right? And not just the appreciation of something beautiful, like you mentioned Paris, going to Paris, but also your own expression, right? Like you could be a white collar person going to work every day wearing the same thing, and but you choose to wear your tie like this, I mean, like, and because it feels good, and that's art, right? That's art.
Yeah.
That's you're choosing to do it, You're choosing to do something that you might not even have a reason for, right?
Aesthetics. It's
Aesthetics.
Yeah.
Aesthetics. And this is one thing also we realized over here when the first time we came to Mexico, we realized that there is you can actually see art everywhere. Like you see it on the streets, you see it of course, in your galleries and stuff. And there's a kind of I would like to get your opinion about what you felt maybe the first time you came here, and when you started to see what the art is like over here,
So as like in Munich, there are like different art scenes. There are these big galleries here that are like kind of franchises of galleries all around the world that have like kind of the same art, very, I would say, European or American influenced. So beautiful buildings and like really well maintained and like keeping a scene alive. It's also like a market kind of thing. And there are like more underground galleries and museums that have amazing Mexican art. And I see the art scene as something really pushing here. They have a very contemporary art scene, very different and open-minded to new aspects, very performance-based as well. I've seen many performances in museum when I lived there that really intrigued me, that were like opening something new, very also like contemporary art that is still based on old traditions, which is very like it's a delicate thing. It's a very interesting thing because there's such a rich old culture here. So of course, then you take from this old traditions, and it's beautiful what I saw there. And yeah, this is what I found very intriguing during my stay back in the days, and where I was always out there. Like you could actually do something every time of the week, every day of the week. If you can go to an opening or something in Mexico City, you could just fill your days with art if you want to.
Yeah, that's what we love. Like there's something going on almost every day, right? Like,
yeah, that's crazy.
And at the beginning of the show, you mentioned that the people invite you here. They say, "I'm going to call you tomorrow," and they actually call you, right? It's like, it's like there's this commitment to kind of, let's do it, let's meet up, let's go to the show, let's go to the gallery, let's go for a walk,
Because there's nothing to lose. I always have the feeling, they understood something. There's nothing to lose. Like just invite that person. And I really learned that from my time back then, how friendly people and inviting people are, that I really wanted to be the same for people that came over to Munich, learning something and like taking from it. And like whenever people visited me in Munich, or I got to know foreigners in Munich, I was like, okay, cool. Now I know how it feels to be like fragile arriving in a new world, because first you're fragile, you don't know what to do. And like to involve somebody, get somebody in, show them the world, and make them like feel welcome. That's a very important feeling. It's a warm feeling.
Is that not usually the case in Munich? Like are people, the other artists, kind of just sticking to their own thing? And
I think it depends on which age, which stage of career, or where you are at the moment. I mean, while I studied there at the Art Academy, this is very inviting because there are people from all around the world, and they're all languages mixed and whatever. And it's a very fast-paced drive there at the Art Academy. You meet something happening, somebody cooks, then you go there, so you get very quickly into the art scene. And of course, there's a Munich art bubble where you just always meet the same people, like probably in the music business or wherever. Like, okay, there's that same person again. And once you are at these openings, you will hear about another opening, and you just can get in. But I heard of other people in Munich that, like, for example, came for other studies or something, that they had a hard time because people are so cliquey and they stick together and they don't want to, like, they appear to be a little bit cold and distanced. And that's what many people said about Germans as well in general, that many people are a little bit distanced and like, you're hard to crack, very serious,
Right.
But like, it depends on the person, like in every country.
Yeah, so I saw a meme, right? Like a short meme about how in Germany, like you can be around some other people, and basically, you should correct me if this is right or wrong, right? Like nobody be talking to anyone, like you, they just leave you alone until you sneeze. Once you sneeze, and then sneeze, and then they're like, hey, God bless you, Gesundheit, and then something, and that kind of brings to my mind also. It's true?
Yeah.
You would agree with that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that kind of brings to mind that actually, in a lot of these situations, people are just kind of looking for something to break the ice, right? Like to kind of actually make that connection, right? To kind of, And as an artist, I mean, I heard you say that back in Munich, you are actually doing that, right? You're kind of being that warm person, that open to other artists. Yeah. I want to know also, Janina, if can you tell us something about being here that has kind of changed you, like as an artist, like change your style, maybe or maybe your personal approach, Yeah. Could you tell us something about that?
I think like one of the personal approaches was to be more open or open-minded and to invite people and be there for them when they are coming from a different background. And actually, one of my good friends that I met in Mexico now moved to Austria, and I was like, oh, cool, you came to Europe, and I helped him to settle in Europe, and that was a good way of like giving back. Aesthetic-wise, what I really opened up to like different colors, different material, more experimentation, because I felt people here love to experiment or are more open to different styles, and which is not always welcome in Germany, I often think, because you have to have your style, you stick with it, and it's very Bauhaus and very square and like subtle colors and stuff. If you do something bright and bold, like it's connected to different cultures or from somewhere else, you know. But I love these colors, and why not using them? Why being so subtle about it? This definitely changed the style of my art, and being inspired to use different materials, not just stick with video like I started. Now I'm using ceramics and textiles, and I combine it all in my artwork, making big installations.
Oh, wow.
Just got more brave, maybe.
That's really interesting. So, can you tell us about one of your installations that includes the video, the ceramics, and like how would you combine these things? You know.
Interesting question. I think it started when, you know, even now, you're also like here on video all the time. The format of a video is always this 16:9 format. And then, you know, you're starting to think, oh, back in the days, it was like 4:3 with the old TVs, but like 16:9 it is now. You start to think in that format, because that's my platform, that's my media. That's the format I have to think. And I was like so done with this format, because I'm so stuck with that. Then I started to think video in organic forms. Like, but how do you show this then? Like, how do you show video in an organic form? How do you model that? And then I started like embedding videos in, for example, textile art pieces, putting the video behind a textile, or like a cutout of a textile, or a cutout of a ceramic piece, where the actual video comes from the back and is like very organic shaped or something. And thinking a video in an organic way is a completely, like, it's for me still a very different approach. And I love it, because you're more free. You're just more free. You're not 16:9 anymore. You're not a square anymore. You can do whatever.
Right. It's like you're bringing an organic kind of thing to the video, right?
Yeah. Starting to play with it finally. I mean, video is still very new in comparison to other materials, but like we didn't learn enough yet about it. So we're still like in the making. What can we do with video or with digital art, digital media? What's happening?
Wow, that's so interesting. Can you tell us more? Like, how did you actually? What made you interested to even get into this? You know,
into video art.
Yeah.
I think it was because like the academy process, the art academy process in Germany is like you apply to different professors, and whichever professor he specialized in one art, the art he's doing, like painting, sculpture, video art. And I applied with a video that I did before, and I showed to the only video art professor, media art professor in Munich, when I was so young that I didn't know shit yet. But like I was like, okay, I just want to do the most. For me, that was the freest kind of media, and like the most contemporary kind of media. It was so new. So I applied there, and he took me, and that's how it all developed, because then you learn more, you work with other people, and it's more like sometimes you just jump into something not knowing yet where you jump in. It's not like a conscious decision or something, you know? Sometimes it just happens, and it's fine.
Yeah. It's like you just decide something grabs your attention. You just
Yeah.
And it's not. It's different. Right? It's not just videos, right? I mean, like you're not talking about making videos, right? What you are actually doing is actually kind of adjusting the consumption of the video, right? Like playing with that, right?
Yeah, definitely. Also playing with the time you're watching a video, making short loops, or like using it in different aspects. It's not that not a film style of way how to see it, like a 1.5 hours movie style of way. I mean, I'm still playing with like 1 minute loops or something, or just graphics, or, you know, it's just a way of building up different worlds. Maybe that can sum it up quite nicely, because as an artist, you're building your own world in a way. And I take from wherever, or like we are all taking from wherever. We're walking through this world and we're getting glimpses of whatever inspires us and whatever people inspires us, and that all comes together and something happens here. Something gets mixed up in the brain, and then something else comes out. It's like a transmitter. It's like going through you, and then something else comes out. You don't sometimes know what's happening, but like obviously something inspired you to do this artwork.
Yes, for real, for sure. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and it's almost like you're a channel, right? You kind of just. Sometimes they say almost that there isn't actually anything original, right? Like you're kind of just borrowing from here and there and kind of remixing.
Of course, we're putting different connections together, and it's fun because you're learning. Well, that's my approach. I don't know. Everybody's different, as I said, but my approach, we're learning, and then we take this and that, and like, wow, what's happening now?
So is it ever not fun? Can you tell us a bit about that? Like, how do you go through, or how do you deal with, this might be something useful, right, for people. As an artist, how do you go through those moments, those low moments when you don't feel inspired, when you are questioning yourself, and things like that? How do you go through? What's your process? Yeah,
you might mean like writers sometimes have like a writer's block and they can't write anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, there is, where do I have it? Here I have it. That's my little notebook.
Okay.
For today as well. But like when you go through the world, you always see something inspirational. You just quickly write it down, And whenever there's like a moment where, just to have it there, you don't have to do anything with it, but like, wow, this is inspirational, or just a quote or something you saw, just a quick sketch. And whenever I'm not inspired or something, I don't have a real project that I want to follow up, I'm looking through all these books, all these sketchbooks. There are like hundreds of them. And like sometimes you jump back like 7 or 8 years or something, and you find something like, wow, really? This is what I encountered there and there in the world, or like this inspired me. And then you start thinking again and researching about it again. And often it takes quite a while because you have to read up on things. You have to do some research, because in the beginning it's just like a little glimpse, and then you build up a fire. And then with this fire, you can do an artwork. You actually because you have to build up a lot before you actually start a piece. Because then, once you start a piece, that will take another weeks or months until it's finished, or at least for me.
Okay.
So you have to build up a lot of fire.
So when you're feeling uninspired, when you have no ideas, you kind of look at your old notes and stuff, right? So would you recommend to artists to actually have notes, have things like that? Yeah,
definitely. Or just a diary. I often just write down some thoughts while I travel, or while something special happens in life or something. And then you just look back. And even just reading in your sketchbooks later, it's just fun, even though you might not get inspired, but it's just fun. Right. Also to see your old self. It's like, wow, that was me. Crazy how I changed.
That's the trip. That part gets me, when you look at your stuff and you realize that how your perspective has kind of changed over the years.
Definitely. Right? It's crazy.
And also the parts that doesn't change. Like you can see that, I'm exactly the same. Like I'm still thinking about the same thing and still trying to manage the same thing. And what about working with other artists? Like, is it something that you actively do, and how do you go about managing that whole process? Because the whole too many chefs in the kitchen kind of thing, and also like I'm interested to get your opinion about this, because when you work with another person, it's really a collaboration of two different worlds, right? How do you manage that?
That's interesting, because we have talked about that so much, and with many people in my friend group, I'm talking about it a lot, because I'm also working with many people in Munich together, and now with Beatrice. And I think it's a big social approach to. It's then not only art, or not only something artistic you're doing, it's also an endeavor into your own social aspects or into your psyche, or how you can deal with people, how empathetic can you be, how much can you give, how much can you take, how much do you understand, how much do you listen. It's a lot going into this psychological realm when you work together, and I think it's very important to also look further. You often come to some borders or to some limits within that work. And when you then overcome these limits, that's a great feeling, because you have done that together. And togetherness is a great aspect of a work, you know, when you have done something together and you can share it, that's especially meaningful. I think both aspects, both ways of working you need in your life. Sometimes you just need your lonesome studio work where you just sit there and do something like for 6 hours straight, just listening to a podcast kind of thing and just work alone. But then also like working together, so important, because we are kind of social beings, right? Humans want to mingle. We need to mingle to survive.
Humans want to mingle.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, Janina, we've come to the end of the show. We only have like actually it's fast. Yeah, one or 2 minutes left, and I'd like to get some closing words from you about any advice you might have for artists, professional artists who are looking to maybe come to Mexico and kind of integrate their work over here. Like, what advice would you have for people like that?
Just go out. What you probably do at home, you can do here in Mexico as well. Go to the opening, speak to people, ask questions, be interested. And Mexico will just take you, just lift you and bring you further. And just trust in that. And it will really, it's fun in Mexico City. I've lived in different places, and it's really a beautiful world there in Mexico. And even if you can't just come for a short time, but check it out.
Check it out. All right, guys, you heard it here first. Check it out. You know, come on down. Just open yourself and give it a go. Right? In Mexico, what kind of?
Trust it.
Exactly. Trust it. Well, thank you so much, Janina, for coming on the show. It's been really interesting. And
thank you, Isaac.
We're gonna watch you, and we're gonna be here for you also. If you, I want to invite you to come back again and share some more of the stuff that you're doing.
Yeah.
And yes,
check out the show at the Goethe Institute.
Yes, check out the show. And where can people go to kind of get more information about this? Your Instagram?
On the Instagram or Goethe Institute website. Yeah, it's all there. Goethe
Institute website. All right, beautiful. Thank you so much. It's been really nice talking to you.
Thank you so much.
And see you again soon. Peace.
Peace.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you to all who joined us here on That Foreign Show. It's been awesome. I'm Celestine Angel.
And I'm Isaac Crouch, and we'll see you next Friday. Have a great weekend, y'all.